Welcome back to our journey through the fascinating world of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime's Light Novel. Let's continue from the last part, where we left.
Yuki was clear that they should go after the Dwarven Kingdom first, even though it might mean losing some of their own. He pointed out that once they had control of the kingdom, they'd be in a better position to defend themselves. Caligulio worried about the central gate getting destroyed by their powerful magic cannon, which would wreck the nearby city. But even though he knew Yuki wasn't telling the whole truth, Caligulio thought it was better to go with Yuki's plan for a quick win rather than a long chase in the forest. He believed that beating the dwarves fast would make everyone feel good and help them move on to the City of Tempest without rushing. Yuki proposed sending his composite division to investigate the dungeon, but Caligulio disagreed, suggesting that the main force advance westward to navigate the pathless forest to the dungeon instead. Caligulio doubted the rumors about the city disappearing until proven otherwise. Seeing Yuki scowl, Caligulio felt a sense of superiority, knowing Yuki wouldn't get everything he wanted. However, the marshal approved Caligulio's plan, granting the armored division permission to invade the forest of Jura. The marshal continued, suggesting applying pressure to the east gate with the composite division. Yuki realized it was a firm order and refrained from objecting. Gradim, feeling anxious about the magical beast division's role, pleaded for a chance to contribute. The marshal reassured Gradim, promising him a role in the operation. After assigning his role, Gradim was surprised when the marshal told the magical beast division to head north. The idea of crossing the Kanat Mountains was tough, but the marshal thought it was a smart move to get a strong spot in that area. The Empire was strong enough to do it, but it was going to be hard to get all the supplies and soldiers where they needed to go, which made some of them wonder if it could really be done. As Gradim hesitated, the marshal revealed her plan with a laugh to navigate over the sea and attack the capital of Inglesia. Despite Gradim's concerns about transportation, Caligulio confirmed the existence of airships developed by their force, operated by the Flying Combat Corps, which could transport the magical beast division. The council became excited at the prospect of attacking the west without traversing the forest of Jura, bringing joy to the empire. In their discussion, Caligulio assured Gradim that they could provide airships for transportation, though their battle capabilities were limited. Caligulio planned to keep 100 armed airships for the battle against the Storm Dragon, while the remaining 300 would carry troops. Each ship could accommodate up to 400 soldiers, leaving enough space for the 30,000 champions of the Magical Beast Division and their support staff, along with supplies. Despite lacking combat power, the airships would suffice for transporting the division, a point Caligulio emphasized in his offer to Gradim. Gradim understood the strategy but felt unsure. He knew that battling Rimuru or the Storm Dragon was a big deal, but the marshal's quick attack plan seemed good too. It looked like they could win easily because the western nations weren't ready. There were also strong enemies in the west, like the Crusaders and Master Rooks, led by Hinata Sakaguchi, the top knight. But even with the chance to fight famous warriors, Gradim thought it was better to go with the marshal's plan that seemed more likely to win. Filled with determination and the thrill of anticipation, Gradim, the Beast King, eagerly accepted the plan, envisioning victory over formidable opponents. The chamber echoed with cheers and declarations of triumph, with Caligulio offering reassurance about the sea route's safe route. He calculated that this path would keep them away from dragons and sea creatures, ensuring a relatively secure journey to the west. However, he held back from fully endorsing the plan, recognizing the absence of tank support as a potential option. Having thoroughly prepared for the idea, Caligulio found himself intrigued by its potential outcomes. He envisioned bringing the magical beast division via airships, disguising their true intentions while seizing the opportunity to claim additional spoils. With a large force deployed north, the western nations would be caught off guard, unable to effectively respond to multiple fronts. Caligulio saw this as an opportunity to focus on the dungeon and the Storm Dragon, aiming for even greater success. But despite some concerns raised, the marshal gave the green light for preparations to begin immediately. The Empire, without a word from Emperor Veldora, decided on a three-pronged invasion, igniting fervor throughout the nation to prove their prowess in battle after a long period of obscurity. After the meeting, Yuki breathed a sigh of relief. The marshal getting involved meant he had to change his plans, but it wasn't a big deal. His troops would still be near the capital, just like he wanted. The armored division would take care of the forest of Jura. Yuki didn't expect the magical beast division to join in, especially with Vega working secretly there. Now, he had to think if his composite division could handle it alone. Vega was meant to lead the takeover and take the fall if things went wrong, while Yuki would help from the shadows. Yuki realized his original plan needed adjustments, but he believed the core idea could still work. He counted on Caligulio's ambition to serve his interests, knowing Caligulio's thirst for rewards outweighed his aversion to risks. But with Tempest's wealth and technology as bait, Yuki manipulated Caligulio through the information provided by Ghidorah. Yet, Ghidorah's unease about the marshal intrigued Yuki. Despite not sensing any danger, Ghidorah saw her as a formidable adversary, a sentiment Yuki understood well with his ability to assess opponents' strengths without confrontation. Ghidorah pointed out how unusual it was for the marshal to get so involved in military stuff, which was not normal for them. Yuki thought this might mean there were problems inside the Empire, especially after dealing with the demon Lord Guy Crimson before. Yuki guessed that a big war might bring out secrets. Ghidorah, seeing what was happening, started thinking about what to do next. He wanted to stay out of fights, even though they had issues with the West before. Ghidorah knew he couldn't sway the Council's decision, especially after his own actions fueled tensions. He typically prioritized his own interests and the safety of his friends, showing humility and acknowledging his limitations despite being a skilled sorcerer. Aware of the dangers posed by demon lords, he advocated against war, having befriended Yuki through shared goals of opposing Luminism and the West. Understanding the diplomatic intricacies, Ghidorah believed it unwise for the Empire to provoke conflict, especially considering the gentle nature of Rimuru, whom he had met, and the formidable strength of Tempest. Witnessing Adelman's position in the dungeon hierarchy, Ghidorah recognized the futility of challenging such a nation, convinced of the Empire's trouble in this war. Ghidorah couldn't quite grasp what Shinji's group thought, but he sensed something intriguing about Rimuru that drove his fervent plea against the war. Despite his efforts falling short, he fulfilled his promise to Rimuru by redirecting the Empire's focus toward the dungeon. Now, he planned to journey to the land of monsters after a final audience with the Emperor. Expressing his loyalty to Yuki and offering support if needed, Ghidorah revealed his intention to live life on his own terms. Yuki appreciated Ghidorah's frankness and admired his authenticity, promising to keep in touch. After exchanging well wishes, they parted ways. Ghidorah was nervous as he waited to talk to the Emperor, ready to give one more important suggestion. Walking down the hallway with someone who was covering their face, he looked at the cherry blossoms and thought about how they stood for the empire that would last forever. He thought about how people from Japan and another world saw things differently, especially the idea of wabi-sabi, which finds beauty in things that don't last. While talking with Serkando, Ghidorah thought about the many ways people see the world. From beneath the tree emerged an intense-looking young man. Ghidorah, feeling an impending danger, drew his staff as the attendant vanished. The young man, First Lieutenant Kondo, wielded a Nambu pistol and refused to let Ghidorah see the Emperor. Despite Ghidorah's suspicions, Kondo remained silent. Suddenly, Ghidorah felt a sharp pain in his chest, realizing too late that he had been stabbed from behind. As he lost consciousness, he realized Kondo had not attacked him. Another assailant had struck, leaving Ghidorah to wonder why as he faded away. As Ghidorah's mind started to slip away, he heard a voice he knew but couldn't make sense of it. He wondered if he was imagining things because he was about to die. When Kondo's voice faded, Ghidorah figured out he had been poisoned, probably because he tried to betray Emperor Ludora. As he succumbed to the poison, surrounded by the eternal cherry blossoms, Ghidorah activated a spell he had prepared beforehand, then lost consciousness.
That's it for today, guys, and thanks for watching the video. Stay tuned for next chapter. Until then, goodbye.